There's a lot to discuss. Progress on the Space Launch System and Orion is underway, with the crew abort test being set up in Florida. Luckily, the current presidential administration has funded the SLS so it can continue. Confusingly, the president recently made a remark on Twitter, as he does, that seems to contradict his previous position. Not that long ago, the president signed the Space Initiative to fund NASA's Moon to Mars initiative. Under my administration, we are restoring NASA to greatness, and we are going back to the Moon and then Mars. I am updating my budget to include an additional $1.6 billion so that we can return to space in a big way. Then I was on vacation, and I noticed he tweeted, "For all the money we are spending, NASA should not be talking about going to the moon. We did that 50 years ago. They should be focused on the much bigger things we are doing, including Mars, of which the moon is a part, defense, and science." So I think pre-vacation me might have been frustrated by this, but post-vacation me sees it as kind of funny, especially considering that NASA's already funded for the Moon to Mars mission. So does it really matter that the president contradicted himself in a tweet about NASA? No, it doesn't. In other news, SpaceX and Elon Musk got a lot of pushback online from some members of the scientific community, specifically astronomers, as they believe the Starlink constellation, when in full effect, will prevent land-based viewing of the stars and hold up space science, astronomy specifically. I did some research online, and you can see a great video by Astronomy Live in this episode's description or on this episode's link on todayinspace.net. You'll see what the full 14,000 satellite constellation, I think it's 14,000, it's a lot of satellites, and what those satellite constellations will do to muddy the viewing waters of space. You know, for a lot of the folks around the world, it will be okay, and those satellites will not cause many issues. While in other places like the UK, they may have a big impact. Pre-vacation Alex may have just said, well, SpaceX is screwing up viewing space. Way to go. But instead, after a bit more research, I saw that Elon Musk was having some great discussions with other space enthusiasts on ways to work around this and make sure that there are no stalls in ground-based astronomy. I also found a press release from the National Science Foundation, who has been working with SpaceX since they started working on Starlink, apparently, to prevent any kind of lapses in astronomy. This is an excerpt from the National Science Foundation that came out not that long ago, and it says, quote, "After working closely with SpaceX, the NSF has finalized a coordination agreement to ensure the company's Starlink satellite network plans will meet international radio astronomy protection standards, limiting interference in this radio astronomy band. Additionally, NSF and SpaceX will continue to explore methods to further protect radio astronomy. Together, we are setting the stage for a successful partnership between the commercial and public endeavors that allows important science research to flourish alongside satellite communication." With that said, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you again for joining us. As always, you can get your free audiobook and trial by going to audibletrial.com/todayinspace. You can also learn more about 3D printing by going to ag3d-printing.com. Get a free quote on your next project. Follow us on Instagram. That's right, we're on Instagram now at Today in Space Pod, and our 3D printing at AG3D Printing. You can follow us on Facebook at Today in Space Pod and AG3D Printing, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for Today in Space and AG3D Printing. And obviously, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast to get the audio version of all these podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and pretty much everywhere else. We're still working on Spotify. Thank you. Have a great week. Spread love, spread science. See you next time.